Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, I'm going to talk about true flagship smartphones and value performance flagship. What do I mean about value performance flagship? I would say this trend actually started with the OnePlus 6. The pricing of the original OnePlus 6, if you notice, was very aggressive, and today also I would say it's pretty aggressive if you look at it. But in terms of specs, it has the cutting edge specs. For example, the OnePlus 6 has the Snapdragon 845. But now things have changed quickly, and we are seeing other brands also jumping into this bandwagon. For example, Honor, the latest Honor 10 has their flagship chip, the Kirin 970, which is actually used in Huawei's own premium flagships like the Huawei P20 Pro. And now the new, this was the Honor 10 and this was the Zenfone 5Z, also has the flagship Snapdragon 845 chipset and other bells and whistles. So they are competing with the flagships in terms of processors, and there are other true flagships I would call, like the Galaxy S9 Plus, Samsung flagship, HTC flagships, LG has their own flagships, and we even have Pixel. But if you look at the pricing of the true flagships, they're almost double the price compared to these value flagships. Now the Zenfone has changed the equation even more. Sub 30,000 you're getting the flagship processor and other specs. So what is actually different? Let's go over them, and does it still actually make sense to buy a true flagship? Let's discuss that. Moving to batteries, here also I would say, in fact I would here say the value performance flagships have slightly more edge. And that can be a sort of a con also, because they get slightly better battery life. I would say if we compare it with the true flagship, for example S9 Plus, I've used all these phones, and in terms of battery life, these give slightly better battery life, and that is due to the fact that the screen, these one have full HD plus screen compared to the quad HD screens that these true flagships have. Yes, in terms of screen quality, I would say the true flagships still have an edge. Most of the true flagships of S9, you take S9 Plus, you take the Pixel 2 XL, all come with quad HD screen. So yes, they have higher resolution screens, but trust me guys, I've used all these smartphones, and in terms of day-to-day performance, unless the screen font, is very minute, you won't notice a difference unless you look at it. So for 95% of the time, I don't mind these full HD plus screens. And the advantage still of the full HD plus screens is that due to that, they get considerable, I would say almost 1 to 1.5 hours of extra screen on time compared to many of the flagships. So again, that can be neutral. Yes, some of you might prefer a quad HD screen, but yeah, the full HD screens are good enough. Now moving to RAM and storage, here these value oriented flagships have surpassed, I would say, the true flagships, because many of these, for example, if you talk about the OnePlus 6, you have one variant that comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 GB of storage, and even the Zenfone 5Z, the new one, they have a variant that comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256, whereas still the true flagships, apart from the iPhone 10, are mostly sticking to about 6 gigabytes of RAM, and 128 and 64 GB are the sweet spots on that. So in terms of RAM, yeah, these ones are going ahead. Frankly speaking, I would say even for Android smartphones, you technically don't need 8 gigabytes of RAM. 6 gigabytes is more than enough. But yeah, if you want bragging rights, yes, these value flagships are getting, you have the option of 8 gigabytes of RAM. In terms of looks, even these value performance flagships have very good looks. Now they're coming with glass backs with this generation. Earlier it was not the case. Now even the OnePlus 6 has a glass back. So in terms of looks, these also actually look good. Again, looks can be a slightly subjective matter. In fact, this Honor 10 looks very unique with this colored back again. So yeah, in terms of looks, even these value flagships have started looking very well. And fast charging, again, these value flagships also offer fast charging. So what are the things that these value flagships still omit? The first thing I would say is IP protection, that is water resistance protection. Most of these flagships, Samsung Galaxy S8, S9, Pixel, others, most of the flagships are actually IP rated, even IP68 rating. So, but that is actually generally not found on these value performance flagships. they don't have an IP rating, official IP rating, I would say. Most of them are sort of splash proof, but not water resistant. So that is one big thing that is still missing on these smartphones. And also wireless charging is actually missing on these smartphones, though the OnePlus 6 and even the Zenfone 5Z have that glass back, but they don't implement wireless charging. That is as of now restricted to flagships. I don't know why that's the case. It's easy to implement even on these ones, but we don't have wireless charging on these. And biggest difference I would say between these value flagships and true flagships is the camera. For example, I'll take the example of the Pixel 2 XL, or even if you talk about the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. In terms of camera, these one have superior camera, and it is actually noticeable. I won't say it's a day-night difference that I'm noticing, but yeah, if you want the best, perfect, I would say, picture quality, then yes, the Pixel 2 XL and even the Samsung Galaxy S9 will be the camera performance that you can get on these. But again, that is only in certain situations, where difficult lighting situations, in open door situations. Even these value flagships cameras have been performing very well. For example, when I went to Bali, I shot the entire footage in my experience with the OnePlus 6, and the footage came out for the most part it was a good footage. So yes, but if you want the best camera, still I would say that is restricted to flagships. So that is one area where I feel the true flagships are performing a lot better. And also, apart from that, I could also go with the stereo speaker. But now, generally on many of the flagships, we find stereo speaker, for example, Pixel 2 XL. And I enjoy that a lot. But now that has also come on these value flagships. For example, the Asus Zenfone 5Z offers, proper dual speakers. So to sum it up, I would say the biggest difference I personally see between these value flagships and a true flagship is in terms of camera performance. That's the biggest difference, I would say. Apart from that, most of the other things, for example, yes, wireless charging and other small niggles like IP water protection, others are very minor things. But again, it comes down to the price point. Now the price point between these true flagships and the value performance flagship is almost double. For example, the Zenfone 5Z, you can get it for about 30,000, whereas a flagship like the S9 Plus, etc., and others are above 60,000. So I would love to know, do you feel the price gap that is almost double is justified for true flagships, or are you happy with the performance flagships like the OnePlus 6 or the Asus Zenfone 5Z? Here I'll just leave a poll. Would love your feedback. Just vote on the poll and let me know what do you think about value flagships or true flagships. So guys, that's it for now for this video, and if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.